Alright boys, coming in at number 1 we have Berserk of Gluttony. Now I know what you're thinking. Who wants to watch an anime about a dude who can't stop eating? No, it's not just that, bro. Alright, so the MC has a garbage skill, the skill of gluttony. Because of this skill, he has been viewed as nothing more than a pig who never stopped eating. Now that's not all. He even viewed himself that way. Now, you know it's bad when you agree with your ops. Anyway, he was asked by a few knights to stand guard for them while they engaged in some moderate tomfoolery. They then came back and they had the audacity to say something. "Oh, we forgot you even existed for real, my guy." Then the leader took out his change and threw it at him like he was a homeless bum. He for one like, ah. When he went to pick it up, the knight stomped on his head and said some, "Oops, my foot slipped." They then got to jumping him. They really pulled out the secret technique from Jujutsu Kaisen just to bully some random kid. Then the pretty girl in every anime comes to save the day, telling them that's not how knights are supposed to conduct themselves. They leave, leaving the girl and the boy alone together. They then say, "See you later," as the MC goes to stuff his fat face. I'm telling you, this man eats more than Goku. For real, ate more than Goku and Gohan when they came out of the time chamber, man. He then went to the Fortress of Dreams. The next day, he met up with the girl and they stood guard together, how it should be. Then a bandit came and she chased him down. He then came back to the MC, so the MC had to kill him. It turns out his gluttony skill isn't so useless after all, because he took the bandit skill and can now see through things and read people's minds when they touch him. So he goes out killing monsters and gains even more bread. There's more, but I won't get into it. Go watch it yourself. It's really good. Also, there's revenge scenes if you're into those. Alright, at number 2 we got Gate. Now when I first started watching this, I thought I wouldn't get into it and drop it later. But no, I got hooked. Had me out there looking like the Daphne Coraline in front of my screen all night. Basically, it's about a man who's an otaku and a major in the Japanese military. He was on his way to go to the game store like me when MK1 dropped. Suddenly a rift to another world opened up and a bunch of people on dragons pulled up and started killing everyone off rip. No provocation or anything. Had them citizens scattering like the rats in Ratatouille. The MC with his military background helped the military get things under control and save the citizens. They took some of the attackers hostage. They found out that they used magic, so they kept their guards up. Had them like EDP when Skeeter Jean pulled up. So they gathered their finest military equipment and went through the gate to the other world. They then set up base. They was up there like they own the place now. A giant army of natives started gathering around them. The general said, "Charge," and the entire army proceeded to get packed up. They got sniped, blown up, air raided, and everything. It gave me the same feeling as Gojo vs. Jogo. I started to feel a little bad for them. A little. In reality, I was being a D1 meat writer for Japan. This will not be a repeat of 1945, let me tell you. They sent them running and began picking up the dropped items and experience points. They went out further and a giant dragon called the Flame Dragon pulled up out of nowhere and demanded them to run their pockets only to catch the nastiest Fade no guard. The Flame Dragon was supposed to be the strongest thing in that world, and when everyone heard about how Japan killed it, they all switched up and began offering gifts to them to get them on their side. An elf girl even offered her body to them to get them to kill the dragon for her. Don't worry, nothing happened though. Okay, next we have I got a cheat skill in another world and became unrivaled in the real world too. Now you know any anime with a horrendously long title is going to be really good. Basically, it's about a fat boy. That's all. Nah, I'm just playing with y'all boys. So basically the fat MC sees a pretty girl getting harassed, so he tells the offenders to lay off or things are going to have to get physical. So then he got jumped. The harassers left and the girl tried to help the MC up, but the MC pulled a nah, I'm used to it, and left. Bro thought he was in an edit. For real said, nah, I'ma do my own thing. He lived by himself because his entire family literally hated him because of how fat and ugly he was. So he went home and found a secret door in his house that led to a weird looking room. He found out he was in another world, so he went outside and saw strange plants. Out of nowhere, a giant goblin thing charged at him. He thought he was going to get packed up, but the cabin he was at had a barrier around it. He grabbed the weapon and one-shot it because it was enchanted and gained more experience points than the person who found the queen. He then went back to his world and went to sleep. His body began to change because of all the experience points he got. Bro really had the biggest glow up of all time. So he went to school the next day and nobody recognized him, but all the girls were simping for him. They really would have donated $1,000 if they could. They all asked him who he was and he told them. They couldn't believe it because he was so fat and ugly before. That's all I have to say about this one because I don't want to get into too many spoilers. Go watch it yourself. Alright, at number 4 we have Beast Tamer. Now if you don't like bestiality, go ahead and skip this one.
Technically it isn't bestiality, it's just, the girls aren't actually animals. You know what, shut up.
They're part animals, so they're animals. So you can shut your big, fat, sweaty yapper, Jeremy. Also, I'm just kidding about the bestiality part. There isn't any in it. Yet. Anyways, the series starts out with a boy immediately getting kicked out of the adventuring party because his members found him useless. They really wasn't about to let this man be the last one standing. So he got kicked out of the party and had to return all his things. He decided to go adventuring on his own in the forest and saw a cat girl getting attacked by a giant tiger. He jumped in to help but couldn't do anything because of how weak he was. The cat girl finished the job and asked if he could tame her, so he did. Apparently it was basically impossible to tame legendary beasts, but he did. Going back to his party, they hired another beast tamer, but he was even more useless because he could tame only one animal at a time while the MC could tame as many as he wanted to. They asked him why he could only do one at a time and he said most beast tamers could only do one. Anyone that could do more than that is a D1 freak. They realized the mistake they made by kicking the MC out of their party, so they went to go find him again. But will he rejoin their party? Alright, we're finally at the last one. Time to do something really shameless. I spent a lot of time on this video, so I'd really nut my bust if you could leave a like. And you could maybe subscribe while you're at it. It's really an option. It's an option. Anyway, this anime right here has got to be the single most underrated anime in all of existence. And the subject of this entry is Karakuri Circus. Basically, it's about a boy who lived with his grandfather, but then his grandfather went and bit the dust. After that, a whole lot of assassins started coming after him. He ran away and saw a man in a bear costume. The man in the costume had to make people laugh or else he'd die. He got the boy to laugh and realized he was being hunted by a flock of EDPs, so he protected him. It turned out the men chasing the boy were a bunch of puppets. Literally puppets. So they ran away because they couldn't beat them. They got on a train, but it crashed, so they ran outside only to be surrounded. They were about to catch the meanest fade when a silver-haired girl came out of nowhere and came in clutch. They really was about to let this woman be the last one standing. Anyway, she clutched up the match and saved the boy. She was hired by his old man to save him from his family. She didn't want anything to do with the man the boy was with, so she ignored him. But she loved the boy. A little too much. Nah, I'm just kidding. Also, if you're having doubts, just listen to this opening. For real, had me emoting like the plot gets insanely deep, but I'm not going to get into it. Watch it yourself. Well, that's it for this list. If you have any more that I may not have mentioned, feel free to leave them in the comments. Until next time, peace.